All right, welcome to Comic Talk Cafe. We got the whole crew here tonight to discuss one thing and one thing only.
Maybe two things.
Tariffs. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
No, it's not funny? Okay. Switch to pre-orders now.
Yeah. If only. If only we actually had something to discuss about that, right?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, everyone else is discussing those things. That they can continue to do that. We're going to talk about something else. Because this is Comic Talk Cafe, so we don't talk about tariffs.
Unless that increases the price of comics.
No, Satan's. Oh. Unfortunately, it could be. Or we don't really talk about video games necessarily. But we do talk about comics, definitely.
Occasionally.
Sometimes.
Every now and then.
Most days.
Most days.
The end and why.
Cool. Well, we have a specific comic in mind. This is The Amazing Spider-Man #1, or Legacy 965. So we're getting close to that 1,000 mark, guys. Just a couple more years.
I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like they've been doing the Legacy thing again recently, but I feel like they stopped doing that for a good while.
Yeah, it did seem like they had stopped doing that. It just seems like it depends on the book almost. Like sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Yeah. So I'm not sure who decides that. Editorial, I guess. I don't know. I do like seeing the Legacy because at least they acknowledge that there is a legacy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this book has been around for a while, so it's nice to see it continue. Let's get into things here. So just kind of a brief synopsis of the story. I'm not going to really get into spoilers because it kind of...
Spider-Man's in it.
So there's Spider-Man. Aunt May is in there. I thought she had died, but now she's back.
I don't even know anymore.
You're like, Logan, you're like the lore guy, so you should know these things, right?
I haven't. I fell off Spider-Man for a long time.
The universe twists and turns so much.
Yeah, because comic books.
Spider-Man lost me I think it was around Dan Slott's run that I just started, like, falling off that. It was just like, I don't know. Okay. I didn't keep my interest anymore.
I decided to pick this one up because, especially, it's got Ramada's involved. I've always
Ramada?
Ramita. See, I always do that.
I always think it's a hotel.
I always think it's a hotel. So anyway, let's talk about the principles on this. So we have the writer Joe Kelly, artist Pepe Laraz.
I love the way he draws.
Yeah, the art is really good, and we'll get into that as well. And then we have a backup story by John Nita Jr. who's doing the backup story. Which is cool. It's kind of nice to have I like that, they're involving Ramita, and, I presume, that to a certain extent, perhaps, maybe he's not good to do a whole book, but he can still work, and so he's still involved, so maybe, yeah. I don't know if that's what they decided here, or they just wanted to have, like, a side story, and they decided to have Ramita, so.
I like his art. Mm-hmm. I think it's better when he's off the clock. Like I when he's on a book, maybe like sometimes a little bit of rush, because I mean that's always how it is. I feel like you look at basically any artist, it looks a lot better when they can do it at their own pace than the crunch of the industry.
Sure,
but I feel like Ramita's been in the game for a long time, and it may have taken its toll a little bit.
Certainly,
I still think it looks good, but
no.
I do think that he's not at his peak anymore, at least.
Getting into the story, I guess, just broad strokes of the story. This kind of feels like a new beginning for Peter Parker. I believe he's either separated or divorced from Mary Jane. I don't know. Again,
they haven't been married since One More Day.
Okay.
Because he gave it up to Mephisto to save a 9-year-old woman's life.
Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. So, thank you, Mr. Lore Logan. Logan, the lore master. So he's on, he's on his own. He's kind of, again, kind of feels like this is a new start, fresh start. He's getting on job interviews, and they kind of use this part of the story to, I think, to kind of give a backdrop, right, of what he's kind of been going through lately, which is a lot. Poor Peter, right, Rachel? He's always going through the ringer. It seems like he's everyone's punching bag.
Well, I didn't realize
he's editorial's punching bag.
I didn't realize he had so many ties.
Wait, oh yeah, I didn't notice that detail. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you're right.
Same suit.
Pretty much, same suit with different ties every time. But yeah, so he's going through a lot of interviews, so that's part of that experience. And again, we're just kind of getting connected with some of the main characters in this storyline. So we do have the Rhino showed up there, and so there's a nice kind of action scene there, a nice 2-page spread there with the Rhino.
I don't even like this could be the worst story ever written to man, and I won't care because this art is great.
Yeah.
Like, I would read this just for the art. I mean, I think that this issue is definitely written well. I liked where the story is going with it. But, like, I love this art, man.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
I think that's the thing I was thinking the whole time. I just love the way that...
really feel.
I just love the way that he draws faces. What did you say the name was for the...
Pepe Laraz, yeah. Yeah, it's very expressive. And dynamic, like with the Spider-Man's poses and stuff. He's got that down pretty good. The action's dynamic.
I like the coloring work is really good.
Yeah, the colors are... Let's see, Is that... How would you say that, Rachel? It's Garcia, but is it...
Marte?
Okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, Marte Garcia. So...
Gracia.
So the art, like I said, the art's very expressive. The characterizations on the faces, like even, sometimes when you could say your downtime scenes, like here they're just in a bar, right, with Peter and his friends, but even so, it's still pleasing to look at because again, you have all the faces and they're all very expressive.
The panel work is good too.
Yeah, the panel work.
It's nothing too like insane, but I like there's that one sequence I think you just flew past with Rhino that I thought that's some good composing to it, kind of zooming in on the face on each panel.
Yeah, there is, certainly you can tell he's influenced by some of you could say the masters of comic book art, where you have some very defined panels and you go panel to panel to panel, and that's very old school, right? Where you have that page there, but then you have even the page before where you have the kind of half splash on the page break out from the panels, and then you have you have a blend. Yeah.
Well, what I liked about that page as well is that I know we're describing something visual for a podcast.
I know,
but there's like parts of the ground flipping up that makes it almost kind of look like it's like panels breaking apart. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I like that the lighting is different in different scenes. It's not all, the color isn't the same for every scene.
Yeah, and you kind of have a flow, right? So you kind of go from bright to dark, and then so you have this one scene with presumably the villains, and you kind of know that again, like you said, because of the lighting. We're in a darkened room, and there's lots of shadows and secrets.
The character also kind of gives away the fact that it's
apparently a shadow too, but yeah. Well, there's definitely looks like there's some connection to Hobgoblin, so we'll see what that's about.
Don't give it away.
Oh no!
Well, that's why I was trying not to say it. I was trying to dance around it.
Sorry. Well, I mean, edit.
I don't know. It's not a good sign that Hobgoblin's there.
Yeah.
Is it ever?
Well, that's what I mean.
He's not showing up to give Peter Parker a hug.
I mean, outside of the context of the story. I'm mostly joking, but Hobgoblin has a reputation of having some showing up in stories and then it being really weird execution.
I don't think he's there to give him a job.
No, probably not.
That's a whole other.
Although Peter needs one.
Peter does need one. That's part of the story.
But I definitely like Hobgoblin as a character, but his identity reveal was a little bit botched.
That page was
it was crazy. Yeah, there was the last 2-page spread. And
some Mysterio shenanigans.
Maybe.
He's.
We'll see.
He had a moment of Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good.
And you kind of see him right there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He's like reaching out.
Oh, again, spoiler alert.
Well, you already revealed Hogwarts.
Well, I'm probably going to edit this out in post.
That's true. We can edit this out too.
I'll add a little bleep.
There's a lot to edit.
There is.
Yeah.
This is going to take forever. Oh man. All right. So briefly, let's discuss. We have the backup story. So basically, it's Norman Osborne centric. It looks like, and he's in the end on a mission to redeem himself. It looks
And
like.
also rip off people's arms, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Robot arm, though.
Well,
Robot arm,
It's okay.
I mean, there was a little justifiable.
Yeah, there was he was kind of
I like how Remy Jr. draws Norman's face. It's kind of like kind of tone the line in between, like it's not exactly like angry looking, but it's like not super like happy looking either.
Yeah.
I think it reflects his current state pretty well.
Yeah, so just kind of wrap this up a little bit because I don't want to go too long on this. But what are y'all kind of final thoughts about this issue, first issue of Amazing Spider-Man?
I think it's a good direction for Spider-Man to go because, I mean, while he is still kind of just suffering, I mean, he's got like friends and he's got stuff going on. I hope that we see those side characters fleshed out a little bit more. I don't know if they've been established already in previous issues or how long, because I haven't been keeping up with Spider-Man lately.
Likewise.
But
cool.
Retweet.
What's that, Rich?
I said retweet.
Retweet. You ditto. So yeah, I think the story is a good start. Like I said, definitely this is a number one issue, so they definitely had to kind of establish some things like Logan, like you said, they're kind of telling us kind of who Spider-Man's kind of circle of side characters is, if you will, in this storyline, and I'm sure we'll continue to see it fleshed out as the weeks and months ahead. And I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think this month there's actually going to be 2 issues of the Amazing Spider-Man, so won't have long to wait to see more of this storyline get kind of more fleshed out.
yeah,
And again, the main story, Pepe Laraz artwork is awesome, very expressive, dynamic, great for Spider-Man, I think.
yeah.
And then the colors also really complement the art. And there's not really much else to say. I mean, if you're even somewhat of a Spider-Man fan, you probably want to at least check out the first issue and see what you think.
I mean, a lot of people have been kind of disappointed in Spider-Man as of late, but I think from this issue at least, I think it definitely is a big turnaround from a lot of the things that people haven't liked, and it's definitely going in a good direction. I think we'll get more people back on the train.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. All right, well, if nothing else to mention about the book, I'd like to hear your thoughts. If you have any comments about this book and what you think about it, please let us know. With that being said, I've been Jonathan.
And this is Amazing Rachel.
And I am Logan. Not Wolverine, just Logan. I wish I had claws.
And you've been listening to Comic Talk Cafe.